A question for our time in the United States is, how have so many individuals broken free of moorings that once stopped them from an uncontrollable descent into violence and aggression? The two major events of unmoored mass violence in America recently have been the protest cum riots in May 2020 after George Floyd's killing in Minneapolis and the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
You better run, cops!
Occurring at the same time has been a rise in many cities of homicidal shootings and other violent crimes.
It is our city against the killers.
Last Friday evening, a man in Harlem threw open a bedroom door and unloaded his Glock at 3 New York City policemen responding to a domestic violence call, killing a 22-year-old cop instantly. Another died days later.
Our department is hurting. Our city is hurting.
The week before in East Harlem, surveillance cameras captured footage as a man walked into a Burger King and shot dead the woman working there. That same week, CCTV helped cops in Los Angeles catch the guy who pointlessly knifed to death 24-year-old interior design student Brianna Kupfer, who was working in an upmarket furniture store.
It's one thing when it happens on Melrose, 3 blocks, 10 blocks, but when it happens in like right there, it's like, whoa, this is, wake-up call or what?
And while road rage has been with us for years, now we have airline rage. Here, footage of a brawl breaking out on a Delta Airlines flight just before takeoff last year. I ask you, what isn't out of control?
Seriously.
1 year after his death in 2019, the Manhattan Institute began an annual George Kelling lecture to honor the work and legacy of the criminologist who, with James Q. Wilson, came up with broken windows policing, which should be revived today.
People are alive today because police across the country embrace quality of life policing and the notion that stopping little things because they got big mattered. It was a radical, simple idea, and the cops gravitated towards it.
Time was when even career criminals carried inside their heads some rough calculus of the connection between burglary, armed robbery, a killing, and the likely time they would spend behind bars. Now that logic has disappeared.
What's endemic in our society right now is that everybody seems to be oriented on giving back rights and bestowing favor on people that rob others of their rights.
Brianna Kupfer's father is right, and so is the L.A. County Sheriff's description of liberal District Attorney George Gascon's policies that ultimately embolden criminals.
You cannot be counted on to hold people accountable for breaking the rule of law in such a depraved manner. What good is your local district attorney?
An eye for an eye is not the way the government should behave.
The primary culprits for the destruction of communities aren't the perpetrators who are running wild through a society that has devalued accountability. The blame lies with the establishment elites who have so often explained away and validated this behavior.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Justifications for convention-smashing behavior are always at hand. But the cumulative corrosion of standards such as broken windows policing is now taking a toll on Americans' presumptions about the internal stability of their country.
It's a work as opposed by those who prioritize the often tragic tales of criminals over the tales of their victims, whether those victims are people or neighborhoods. Today's reform advocates fear broken windows because it has the power of truth.